Lynn's eating dinner. Okay, well, that's allowed, Lynn. Especially since you're not the presenter this time. Monterey, Lewiston, Golden, Orfino, Walla Walla, Moscow, Pullman, Christina Lake.
Okay, somebody's having trouble with the link, so let me, I can't minimize, so. Let me see if I can help him out.
Welcome, everyone. We'll be starting in just a few minutes. We're still admitting people. Hate for
How
you
do
to
I
miss.
get my screen? How do I get in on my screen?
Well, it looks like you're on your phone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Usually there's still a little, if you swipe to the right, or I guess
Oops, sorry.
sometimes
if I swipe to
that'll,
the right. Pardon?
I'm not sure because I don't know what kind of phone you're using, but sometimes you can
I'm
swipe.
using. I don't know. I'm on a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus.
Ooh, I don't know. Anybody have any advice?
Anybody in our group able to help our Android user?
Did you go through the email that was sent out to us? There's a link in that email that if you highlight it, copy it, and paste it to a browser, it should pull you through to the Zoom meeting.
When it comes to technology, I am somewhat retarded.
Oh goodness.
Would I be able to just stay on like this?
What I can suggest is you can just engage with the audio portion because it'll be mostly people sharing, and we'll send you the recording afterwards and you can see all the graphics after that.
That would be amazing. And then I can just be listed as I participated.
Wonderful. What is your name? Because we can't see it on the screen right now.
My name is Kevin Yarbrough, a new member, a new Rotarian.
Well, welcome, Kevin.
Kevin Yarbrough with a Y.
Okay, great. Well, we'll keep our eye on anybody that is coming into the waiting room. And in the meantime, we'll, I think we'll start in 1 minute so that we can end on time and respect everybody's time commitment tonight.
Okay. Mr. Roberts, do you know how to add to a Zoom meeting? I put in my ID and everything. They're on there now. So it's not giving you any. He's on there now.
What about here? Have you tried that?
Those are my messages. What was your name? He said
This
it's
is-
swipe.
This is Doreen.
It's the meeting. Doreen, how are you, Doreen?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Awesome. I am awesome. Busy day, but that's okay, Mr. Roberts.
Yeah, I don't. There's no.
I'm just gonna engage in audio. Okay. So
Okay,
technically,
Debbie, shall we get started, do you think?
Absolutely. I'm more than willing to get started if everyone's ready. And I just want to welcome you all to this new member overview. Doreen and I are here to provide some resources to you, a roadmap to your Rotary journey. You're welcome to take notes and screenshots and ask questions as we go through a series of slides that start with a little bit of Rotary history and then progress to you, the new member, and your opportunities through Rotary. So welcome. My name is Debbie Dawkins, and I'm with the Pullman Rotary Club, and I'm co-hosting this with
Debbie.
Kelsey from Christina Lake.
Hi, Debbie.
Hey, Kevin.
Okay. And if you're muted, I'll ask you to unmute, please, unless you have a barking dog, a crying baby, or somebody is doing dishes in the background. Because this is an
Silent
interactive session and we want everyone to join in to the discussion. That will make it even more special for everyone. This presentation is designed for members who are new to Rotary, and also for those who have been around for a while, but maybe haven't had a chance to peel back the layers of the onion quite yet. And that's a metaphor that we use to describe the many facets of Rotary and how there's so much to discover as you learn more about our unique service organization. And I'll ask everyone to take a look at Rotary's vision statement and think about, what does Rotary's vision statement mean to you?
So for me, key words in the vision statement include together, unite and take action, and create lasting change. When I started working for Rotary back in 1985, saw the shared vision of many Rotarians and watched as they made a difference in their communities and in the world. I wanted to be like them, and that started a change in me. While Rotary's impact in the world goes far beyond what you or I can do individually, becoming a Rotarian means that we can work as a group. We're like-minded individuals who want to serve and make a difference. Does anyone have a comment on what the vision statement means for them?
I do have something to say. Again, my name is Charles. I enjoy the lasting change, to create lasting change. That to me kind of resonates. You know, everybody wants to have change that's not going to be here for today and tomorrow, but for the future as well. So for me, I think that's amazing. I really like that statement.
Agreed, agreed. Well spoken. Thank you, Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to comment? Okay, we'll move on.
So our first section is going to just tell you a little bit about the origins of Rotary. So let's dive in, and feel free to stop us and ask questions as we go along. So early Rotary history, Paul Harris. You'll hear his name often in Rotary. Awards are named after him. Books are written about him. And Rotarians look to him, the founding father of Rotary. Back in 1896, Paul moved from Vermont to Chicago, Illinois. He was lonely, and he observed that men often met in the saloons. He began to look for ways to fellowship outside of that environment. Some years later, sharing dinner with 3 of his friends and associates, they decided to meet regularly at one of the business offices to create rotating fellowship and business networking. Historically, this could be called the first Rotary meeting, and it was February 23rd, 1905. By 1911, the business focus of Rotary was changed to the motto, "He who profits most serves best," and it became a service-oriented club, eventually simplified to today's service above self. While our slide states that women were admitted to Rotary in 1987, history shows that women were involved from the beginning, cleverly using their initials to join instead of their names, stepping in when husbands passed away, and organizing as early as 1911 in Duluth and Minneapolis. The Minneapolis Club still exists. However, it was not officially recognized by Rotary until 1989. The Duluth Club disbanded in 1917 at the start of World War I, and it never started up again. I'm glad to say that today Rotary clubs welcome women and work together to share a common vision to create lasting change.
And here we are, 2 women. Okay, the 4-way test that was created during the Depression. And when Rotarian Herb Taylor left a prominent position at the Jewel Tea Company, and took an 80% pay cut to take the helm of the nearly bankrupt housewares manufacturer known as Club Aluminum. He realized he needed to create an ethos that would bring everyone together and help to rebuild the company. So he developed the four-way test as a simple guide to lead everybody in rejuvenating the company. And they eliminated all advertising and business practices that were untrue, exaggerated, or unfair to their competitors. What a concept that was. Any words like better, best, greatest, or finest were dropped from their advertising. Any negative comments about competitors were likewise removed. And he even turned away a large order when he learned that the distributor planned to undercut their other regular dealers. And that was no small sacrifice during the depths of the Depression. In time, their pursuit of good ethics paid off. And in less than 5 years, Club Aluminum paid off all its debts.
So then here's another visual that we look at regularly. It's the Rotary pin. Now people wonder, why would you wear a Rotary pin, or any pin for that matter? Well, the Rotary pin is instant recognition around the world that you're a Rotarian. It states that you pursue service above self and embrace ethical practices. Rotarians like to do business with Rotarians. You're welcome into social and professional circles, and you belong to one of the largest and kindest organizations in the world. Now here we show you two different pins, and I have on even another pin, which is a shamrock with the Rotary symbol in the center. These pins are all branded pins of Rotary International. They speak to Rotarians so that we recognize each other when we're out in public settings. There are many more pins to choose from, and all are copyrighted by Rotary International. That horizontal orientation that you see, that's the current branding, and they call that the master brand signature. If you plan to use the logo for marketing and other purposes, you can check out the brand guidelines, and we're going to say this link often to you tonight, myrotary.org. So to review what we just talked about, service above self and Rotary's four-way test are the models of Rotary, evolving from that first "he profits most who serves best" motto introduced in 1911. And we encourage you to wear your Rotary pin proudly.
Okay, so here's a little description of Rotary's first service project. And it combined humanitarian purpose with business promotion. We're going to have a little chat now and share, what do you think about this first service project?
Well, I thought it was very clever personally. Finding a way to serve the community while enhancing their business practices by keeping women downtown longer to shop.
Yeah, it looks like a win-win to me.
Okay,
They recognized a need and did something about it.
absolutely. And remember that Rotary started out, before they decided on the service aspect, they started out as a business networking organization. So certainly business would be top of mind, but this was a good effort to combine those two endeavors. Okay, so now we'll talk a little bit about the Rotary Foundation. We often refer to it with its acronym TRF. So welcome to the alphabet soup that is Rotary. Now you know what TRF stands for. The Rotary Foundation is a separate entity from Rotary International. It's the charitable arm. And there are actually several different Rotary Foundations due to different laws and regulations in various countries throughout the world. The Rotary Foundation Canada is separate from the Rotary Foundation. in the US, but for giving and recognition purposes, giving is combined. Now, when the Rotary Foundation was first conceived, it wasn't originally intended for humanitarian projects. That came much later. It was intended to do good in the world by extending Rotary to more communities. Now, the Rotary Foundation is one of the most highly rated charitable organizations in the world. And for more than 13 years, it's received the Charity Navigator's highest rating. If you visit Charity Navigator, you'll see the Rotary Foundation scores a perfect 100. So you can give in confidence when you give to the Rotary Foundation. My slides aren't advancing right away, so having a little trouble there. There we go.
Mhm.
Back to you, Debbie.
Thank you, Doreen. So the mission of the Rotary Foundation, how does it relate to that vision statement that we just talked about? Remember the vision statement that says, together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe and in our communities and in ourselves? Well, this is the funding mechanism for all the activities that fulfill Rotary's vision in that vision statement for the world. So when we give to the foundation, those funds are used to create the vision that we have for the future through Rotary. And I think on the slide, my slideshow is very small. It shows some of those areas of focus that we look at through the Rotary Foundation, correct? Yeah, promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water and sanitation. So those are our areas of focus where Rotary puts those dollars that we contribute. Thanks, Doreen, for going back on that one.
My pleasure.
And I assume you guys do things all over the world, it sounds like, correct?
We do, Charles, you included now.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, we can take this opportunity to share some of the projects that people do in their local communities and around the world. Can we have somebody share one of their projects with the group? Don't be shy now.
This is Emily Osborne. Can you hear me okay?
Hi,
Yes.
Emily.
Hi, I'm just making dinner, so I am on, but my video is off. But I know my club's done lots of different projects, and one of them we installed like bio sand water filtration systems in Honduras for clean water, and there were people that were waiting on a waiting list since 2011 to get clean water. And so we've done those projects. I went with several other clubs to India and we did polio vaccines, and we do a lot for women, children, veterans, you name it.
Wow, thank you for sharing. It sounds like your club's very active in international service.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's great. And since 2011, the Rotary Foundation has supported local community service projects. Would anyone like to share a project that they funded with any form of a district grant? Lynn has her hand raised. Lynn?
Yeah, I can share. Our club has been doing the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for a number of years now, and we've been using district grants. And in case anybody doesn't know, it's a fantastic early childhood learning program. They choose the books. A kid gets a free book once a month delivered to them in their name from the age of birth to 5, and then they enter school. It's just so much fun, and it really is very worthwhile.
Thanks for sharing that, Lynn. I have heard that the best way to prepare children academically is to read to them from a very young age. So that covers so many different bases. Would anyone else like to share a local or an international service project that their club has done with funding from the Rotary Foundation.
Okay, do you want to put that one up on the?
Okay.
Okay, Debbie, can you see the hands raised? I see two people did, but I can't see who's raised their hands.
Oh, we got it? Yeah.
I'm with, maybe Ed would mute for us. I see that
Okay,
Lynn's
Dawn,
hand is
okay.
still raised.
I can go ahead and mute Ed. I can't unmute them though. So Dawn, would you like to share?
Oh, we just, along with the literacy thing, we just bought some Vox books for the library. And they're sort of an interactive computerized book that goes with kids. And they're starting to use them, and they're a pretty interesting little piece. So
Great, Dawn, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay.
Doreen, I'll just mention that we've utilized the Express grants a couple of times this past 2 years during the pandemic for working with Meals on Wheels and preparing meals and that for some of our needy neighbors. So
That's great. And what community do you serve, Bob?
I'm with the Richland Club, but it's the Tri-Cities in Washington.
Fantastic. Okay, wonderful. Well, I'll just share briefly, since you mentioned the Express grant. That is a form of a district grant that doesn't require a match, so you can provide additional funding from your club. And we did a project with an Express grant where we purchased televisions for the local hospital. Now, that doesn't sound on the surface of it like it's a humanitarian need, but during the pandemic, those patients couldn't have visitors. So the televisions help to ease the isolation and boredom, and it's the kind of equipment the hospital can't purchase from provincial funds. So it met the need, and it was a great way to help out our local community. Okay, so I'm just going to check the chat. Emily is in Liberty Lake. Okay, so Emily, did you have anything else to share, or did you?
She actually put into the chat, Doreen, that they had a $70,000 district grant, and they were able to install the reverse osmosis water system in the Dominican Republic. So yes, there's some great projects out there, and probably even more that we don't even know about that are happening. As newer Rotarians, we might not have all that information yet.
Okay, so certainly we're all doing good in the world with the help of the Rotary Foundation and all of the volunteers in Rotary.
And back to what we said about creating lasting change too.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we'll transition to the organization of Rotary International.
So this took me a while. I put together this org chart, and I think I should flip it because I really do think that the clubs are where all of the work actually happens and where the magic happens. But let me just kind of break it down for you in a big 50,000 foot view way. So we are Rotarians, and we're in District 5080. Our district has 57 clubs and 6 Rotaract clubs in Washington, Idaho, and parts of Washington, Idaho, and British Columbia. Our clubs belong to Rotary International, and Rotary International organizes us into zones. So we're Rotarians in a club in a district, and the district belongs to a zone. And we're zones 26, 27 combined, and that's all of the Northwestern states and parts of Canada. The zones have their own websites for additional resources. So some of us might be, so I'm a district trainer for our district, but I'm also on a zone committee for district trainers. So I get to meet district trainers from all over Canada and the Northwestern states. And we meet once a month and we share best practices. And there's a lot of zone activities that happen that you can go to and learn more about larger international projects. So when we're talking about different ways to go and just kind of go down that rabbit hole of Rotary, you've got myrotary.org, which is Rotary International. You've got zones. If you Google zones 26, 27, you'll find a plethora of information. And then, of course, we have our District 5080 website and Facebook pages for you to look at too. So there is no shortage of information out there for you to find out more about the club that you have joined.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Rotary Foundation's 7 areas of focus. And sometimes people get a little bit confused because the Rotary, at the club level, we have avenues of service, and at the Rotary Foundation, we have areas of focus, but they work together. The avenues of service are all of the different ways that Rotarians within your club work to serve the community, and in some cases each other. So club service is one of the avenues of service, and those are all the things that you enjoy every single week or twice a month, however often your club meets. At the club level, things like meetings and great programs and social events and family events. When we talk about the Rotary Foundation's areas of focus, these are the way in which the foundation prioritizes its activities, and it's organized into these 7 areas. The newest one is protecting our environment. And I'm going to advance the slide. Rotarians are asked to donate the equivalent of $25 US each year, so that we're all giving something to the Rotary Foundation. And you shouldn't worry about how much you can give. It's more important that everybody gives whatever they can. Some members may give $1,000 a year. Other members may give $100 or $25 a year, but together we get it done. If you give $100 US dollars equivalent, that's about 125 for those of us north of the border. That makes you a sustaining member of the Rotary Foundation. Does anybody have any questions about the expectations or anything really to do with the Rotary Foundation? Okay, and before we move on, I'll just say that Emily shared one other project they did. They did meal packing events during the pandemic with grants, and several clubs combined together and shipped the food all over the world. It was a really fun event for kids and families. So another way that Rotary brings people together, you can share Rotary with your whole family. Any questions about the Rotary Foundation before we move on to Paul Harris Fellows? I noticed that everybody is muted. I'll encourage you to unmute unless you have a lot of background noise, because we really do want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions, and we would love to have you share what you want from Rotary. So please don't be shy. You'll get more out of this if you jump in and take the risk to share some of your thoughts with us. You know, we'll go
Thanks,
back to
Doreen. And I think the other thing about that is we could talk about Rotary for days. And so you have to stop us sometimes when we get off on these Rotary tangents about why we love Rotary so much, and stop us. So feel free to just jump right in there and say, halt, I have a question or a comment, or just to get us to quit talking, right? So
okay, we
I
do
see
have
that
somebody that
yep.
raised their hands, Debbie. Carol Curtis
Carol.
of Ponderay.
So, hey, I just want to say hi to everybody. And there's 2 of us from, well, Tiffany and I are on, and there's another person, Alicia, on from Ponderay, in we're near Sandpoint, Idaho. And I just want to say personally that I'm super excited. Read the magazine, trying to do the grant training. I think it's awesome. I want to give a shout out to Lynn for her videos links. I think they're super educational, and I think they're educational because they're low key and on point simultaneously. So I think that's a really great way to teach us. So I think my question is, I'm really interested in the international component. We're going to try and tackle maybe a grant coming up here pretty quickly, but we haven't done an international grant. So I would throw the question out, if somebody said they were giving water to the Dominican Republic or whatever, how does a local group who maybe doesn't have that international connection yet, you know, make that leap to with water or sanitation or menstruation? That's my question.
I'm sure there's somebody on the call that can share. So unmute yourself if you can help Carol.
This is Emily. I think we get lots of emails, and one of the people that we partnered with in Honduras was Pure Water for the World, and they had asked for help. And so we partnered with them. I think on a board for another nonprofit, so we partnered with them for another trip. So there's just so many different opportunities, and just from the emails that we get, I would love to do them all and help them all, but
Okay,
yeah.
Emily, thanks for sharing. You know, because of the pandemic, we haven't had as much interaction getting together in person at the district level or in our local communities. And with the district conference coming up, that's a great opportunity to hang out with other Rotarians. And the way many of them find projects is they've hosted exchange students, or back in the days when we hosted group study exchange, those individuals would bring projects from their countries. The Rotary Showcase at Rotary.org has clubs that list the projects that they're involved in and looking for funding. There are so many different ways, but I think it starts by getting together with other Rotarians that have relationships established in these other countries, and they can help you, because you do want to partner with someone that is going to be responsible about submitting receipts and submitting reports, because otherwise you could be kind of on the hook for somebody that doesn't report. You might be locked out of future grants, or, you know, things that you don't want to face. So finding a responsible partner is very important. And you can flip that around too. We have needs in our community, right? So you can find a partner in another country that wants to do a project with you in your own community. You can be the host partner. And I think a lot of people overlook that possibility. I know in the Tri-Cities, a club in Mexico was an international partner, and the club in the Tri-Cities was the host partner. So you can be creative out there, but talk to your fellow Rotarians every chance you get to join in a training or a meeting or a conference or a seminar, and you'll be able to develop those relationships, and you'll be inspired by all of the different creative ways that Rotarians find to meet humanitarian needs. And I'm going to send it back to, okay, so there's a comment I'll share before I switch it back to Debbie. Rotary Showcase is mentioned. Lots of programs start locally with who you know through exchanges, colleges, and putting the call out by looking up a club in another country and asking the question. So thank you so much. Oh, Debbie, you shared that. I just saw that was from you.
I'm like, well, thank you for sharing my comment, Doreen. You're so kind.
You couldn't get a word in edgewise with me talking so much, eh?
Oh gosh, no. I just wanted that Rotary Showcase that you mentioned to really be out there for Carol as a place to start if she doesn't know of something, you know, right within her network of friends and family. That's such a great opportunity. So I wanted to make sure that as you were sharing all of that, that one stood out a little bit.
Great.
Okay, so we're going to move along, but I think we're still in funding with the Paul Harris Fellows. Are we not, Doreen?
Oh, maybe I went too far. Let me go back.
Well, I just wanted to share some of Rotary's several funding areas just so that they kind of stick in your head. For example, the Paul Harris Fellow is a $1,000 cumulative donation. So you can, if you're giving $25, if you're giving $100, once you hit 1,000, that's called a Paul Harris Fellow designation. And then every dollar you give gives you a point. So Doreen and I both collected our points and gave those and made our children Paul Harris Fellows, or people in your community a Paul Harris Fellow too, and gave them that recognition. And then I wanted to just note that that money doesn't just go into a black hole called Paul Harris. It really works, as we stated earlier, to fund projects worldwide. So some of those are, just so you know the terminology, are the annual fund, the Polio Plus fund, or the global grant program. So hopefully you're aware of at least those 3 areas of funding. And I'm telling you, in my 30 plus years of Rotary, this has been the hardest thing for me to retain personally, is how our money is spent and how it comes back to our district. But the bottom line is every dollar that is in those funds are given by Rotarians. And I just think that's pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Debbie, I might mention that just recently with all that's going on in the Ukraine, that there's been a disaster relief is another component of that you get credit towards your Paul Harris Fellow by providing funds to that.
Right, Bob. And also, Shelter Box. We are affiliated with Shelter Box, and I know they're doing a lot in Ukraine right now as well. So there are vehicles and avenues for us through Rotary to give to support those countries and those needs, especially what's happening now. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. Very timely, and not in our notes because we created this presentation long before that happened. So thanks for bringing that up.
Hey there, where do we find, like, I've been donating through other organizations, where do we find that within Rotary to donate to the Ukraine?
Well, I think the easiest way is to just go to rotary.org/donate or give. Both words will get you to the right place, and you can donate online. You can also go to rotary.org and download a contribution form and send a check and do it that way. One of the most efficient ways to give to the Rotary Foundation is through something called Rotary Direct. And you can find if you go to rotary.org/donate, you'll see something where you select annual fund, for example, and that funds Rotary's projects today. So that's the most common place to donate. And then it'll ask you if you want to make your donation recurring. When you do that, every month or every quarter, whatever you designate, you can have a certain amount donated to the Rotary Foundation. And that kind of breaks it up. It can be $10 a month. It can be $85 a month if you want to be a member of the Paul Harris Society. You can do as little as $25 a quarter, and it'll go to the Rotary Foundation. But one of the reasons the Rotary Foundation is rated as highly as it is because it is so efficient. A lot of the people that work for the Rotary Foundation take lower pay than they would be worth in the general market because they're so committed to the causes of Rotary. So if we do our giving in the most efficient manner possible, that makes even more money available to go directly to Rotary grants and programs. Did I answer your question okay?
I guess I'm looking for more specifically, can you specifically donate to causes? So a moment ago, Bob mentioned money going towards Ukraine efforts for support. So can you donate specifically, or is it go to like a general fund and other people choose?
You can donate directly to the Disaster Relief Fund for Ukraine. And when I send the follow-up materials, I will send information and a link for that.
Great, thank you.
Debbie, did you want to add anything?
No, I'm in full agreement with what you said. I do know that an email went out to all Rotarians that are in the that are in our district, and there are links on our website. If you go to Rotary 5080, you'll also see Ukraine disaster relief links there that will take you to specific giving areas. And Bob, is that where you went? Is through our district website, or did you go to Rotary International?
I went through RI it's just very easy to do. You just, when it opens up, there's a button right there that says donate. You click on that and it immediately takes you to the 4 options of you can give to. So it's very easy to do.
Right. So there's 2 places, Johanna, you can look. You can go to Rotary 5080 and you'll find those links on our district website, or you can go to rotary.org and you'll find them under the donate button.
Great, thank you guys for answering. It's good for this certain cause right now, but it'll be good for others in the future. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, absolutely. So next we're going to discuss how you can get the most from your experience in Rotary.
So we talked a lot about this slide and what it means to be a Rotarian, and it means different things to different people, and your level of involvement can be a little or a lot. And I say that because sometimes in your life, the best you can do is a little, and other times in your life, the most you can do is a lot. So I can attest that during my years in Rotary, when I was busy with my family or had commitments that made it difficult for me, I stuck it out because I knew that down the road I'd be able to do more. And, you know, it's kind of like the road less traveled. Going down the path of Rotary has made all the difference. So I can say that if you can, do a lot, because it creates amazing opportunities and friendships. So I've been in Rotary for half of my life because I worked for Rotary before Rotary allowed women. So I saw the transition of women coming into Rotary and all the difference that that made when we were able to create youth involvement, family involvement. Saying yes to Rotary opportunities introduces us to service programs. And honestly, I met my husband in Rotary. I met him at a Rotary district conference in Invermere, British Columbia in 1997. So when I say Rotary can change your life, I am not kidding. Rotary can change your life. So I encourage you to do as much as you can and to stick with it. That Rotary, they say some Rotarians come in and after a couple of years they may leave. I say stick it out through that time where it might be harder for you to be a Rotarian because of your job or your circumstances, because it pays off in the long run. Consistency, I truly believe, is the key and the heart of what makes Rotary Rotary.
Thank you. Attendance. So the days are largely gone when you might get kicked out of your Rotary club for not attending 3 meetings a month. So Rotary attendance is no longer a requirement unless your club bylaws have some, specification that say you have to attend a certain number of meetings. We want you to attend whenever you can, and we think you'll get the most benefit from that, but it's no longer a strict requirement of being a Rotarian. In 3 years ago, in 2019, Rotary International modified its bylaws to provide more flexibility. The value of attendance is found in your ability to enjoy and experience all that Rotary has to offer. That might mean joining or organizing a social activity, planning or participating in a local or international service project, or simply attending club meetings regularly and hearing from great speakers who represent all of the people that get things done in your community. Each of these is a form of attendance. Consider inviting your friends, your family members, your business associates to join you at a meeting as well. They may become members or supporters of future events or service projects.
Well, like Paul Harris, many people join Rotary for the friendship and the professional networking. Many join because they see a group of like-minded individuals that make a difference in their community and in the world. Rotary can provide you with opportunities, enhance your leadership skills, expand your resume, and bring you new and lasting friendships. Many of us have attended Rotary meetings all over the United States and throughout the world and been welcomed and embraced by Rotarians there. Personally, working with youth through the Rotary Youth Leadership Group, I've written letters of introduction for youth students traveling abroad. Once I even was able to, all of us through Rotary, we were able to connect a young man from Kimberley, British Columbia, who put out on his Facebook that he was stranded in Tasmania, Australia. I was able to connect him with a friend of mine in Tasmania that I met through an international RILA, and she treated him so well. She drove 4 hours to pick him up. He ended up staying with her for 3 weeks. So the network of Rotary, as you meet more people and expand your relationships, especially now with Zoom and Facebook and how it brings the world so much closer, many fellowships can happen, many friendships can happen. And if you want an introduction on how to meet people, look at the Rotary action groups and fellowships. So you might want to travel, you might want to internationally travel, you might want to join a wine tasting. A friend here in Pullman is in the heavy metal Rotary action group, and they're going to meet up in Texas at the International Convention this summer. All the metalheads, they call themselves, are going to get together. And I belong to ones like peace and conflict resolution. And because of my work in youth and drug prevention, I'm a part of the Drug and Alcohol Education and Prevention Fellowship that talks to kids about drinking underage. But then I'm also in our district's whiskey fellowship. So there's all sorts of ways to expand your worldview and have opportunities created. So I encourage you to look, we encourage you to look at some of those fellowships and action groups. I think they're a lot of fun.
Oh, I agree, Debbie. In fact, any hobby that you can think of, there's likely a Rotary fellowship or action group that is involved. Tennis, cycling, RVers, model trains, anything like that.
Yeah.
Music, absolutely. Stamp collecting.
Where did you say that you could find those?
You can find all of this. Go ahead, Debbie.
Everything's on Rotary.org.
Okay.
And just, look for action groups, look for fellowships, put it out on to the district and see who's already in some of those. If you really have an interest in heavy metal or drug and alcohol youth prevention, I mean, we're out there, we're doing it. We have a lot of people involved in peace and conflict resolution. So they're out there. You can find us.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And Charles, here's a little known secret about navigating the Rotary website. All of this magic is available at the Rotary website, but experienced Rotarians know that you look for it in Google and not on the Rotary website search feature. So
that's true.
If you want to know about
Google
Rotary
knows the
fellowships,
site better than the site knows itself. Huh?
if you're not in there every day, it can be a bear to navigate. So
that's okay.
Just Google Rotary fellowships and it'll bring up the page that has all the fellowship information in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Oh, before we do this, I want to ask some people in the group to share why they joined Rotary. Lynn?
I was asked.
Okay.
Maybe a better question then is, why did you stay?
Glenn made me join. No, just kidding.
Well, we're glad she did. Well, I'll share why I joined. I joined not for, humanitarian purposes. I didn't even know what Rotary was when I was first asked to join, but it was apparent to me that it was going to be very beneficial for my own career, because my career was at that time was in public relations and marketing for a credit union, and we needed to get connected with a community of need, because that's one of the the purposes of a credit union is to serve people of modest means. So I got connected with someone that worked in a community center in North Spokane, and that's why I joined Rotary. But I stayed because it gave me a purpose, and it made me, it helped me to become aware of how much need there is in our local and international communities. And it just gave me a sense of purpose to hang out with people with similar ideals that wanted to make lasting change in the world. And that's why I stayed. Anybody else want to share anything? Okay.
We have a shy group.
It's a shy group tonight. We might have to, oh, Carol Curtis has her hand raised. Carol, please share.
I would just say that I believe Rotary is an exemplary example of the whole concept of you can do more with a group than you can by yourself. So it's not like I didn't see Rotary for years and years and years, even though I didn't join. The idea of making a certain commitment, you know, when you're busy already trying to provide and do fun things, or not even fun things, just important things to your community, you're already engaged, right? I mean, engaged people join Rotary, in my opinion. So sometimes you're afraid of overcommitment, but I love the connectivity, and I just think it's a way to leverage your ability to give to your community. So that's why I did it.
Well stated.
And I twisted her arm, maybe.
Yeah, right. A little arm twisting. Yeah, I got a little arm twister here. Yeah, the ball cap's been in here a little longer than me.
I've been in our club for about 6 years. I'm Tiffany Goodman,
Yeah,
by the
so
way.
past president.
Yep, I was present last year. I always made Carol buy all my raffle tickets of whatever we were selling.
Yep.
So she knew all about us. She just finally had to
Buck up.
and do it.
That's right. So, and the task is to ask is a valid thing. And, you know, it is a personal connection that makes you commit to things. It's also a personal connection. I'll just add, I'm in real estate. There's people on the phone that are lenders. There's people that are probably do insurance, do all kinds of things. And in the end, it's our trust. It's trust. And so if we trust the concept, we're probably going to jump in the pool, right? So I'm in the pool paddling around going, yeah, wow, I can maybe make a little more of a difference. So that's cool.
Right. Debbie, do you want to share the comment that Ashley put in the chat in case everybody didn't have a chance to see that?
I sure do. Just a second. I've got more comments coming in. Got to make sure I get the right one. Alicia, first of all, said, I'm super sick and lost my voice, but I wanted to share I joined Rotary because without the Ponderay Rotary Club, I wouldn't be where I am today. The club gave me thousands of dollars of scholarships throughout the years, and now I am an RNBSN because of it. I decided I wanted to provide youth in my community with the same blessings I had when I was a younger adult. That's amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then Ashley, where are you, Ashley? I joined after attending RILA, woohoo, and Rotaract. I enjoyed it so much after finishing my post-secondary education, I wanted to keep doing it. So yay, that's a testament to our youth programs. Thank you, Ashley.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. So Rotary projects bring us together in service. What projects hold interest for you? And I think we've probably already discussed this topic. So in the interest of time, I think we'll go ahead and move on to socials. If I get my clicker in the right place here. Okay, so the pandemic has curtailed many of our social activities, but when we're all able to gather together again safely, Rotary will offer the opportunities we all enjoyed before. So whether you're new to Rotary or your community, or you simply desire to expand your circle of friends and business contacts, you can rely on Rotary social events to provide the fellowship and support we all desire. And when I think about my social circle, the people that I hang out with, they're not all Rotarians, but most of them I met because of a Rotarian. So that circle expands pretty broadly. Okay, Debbie, back to you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And of course, you talk all your friends and family into joining Rotary with you, and then it really does become a family event. So on that note, we can honestly say that the pandemic has been horrible, but it has brought Zoom into the home. My husband and I are in two different Rotary clubs, and I listen in on his board meetings, his happy hours, and his socials. And he does the same with me. And of course, we for years have attended each other's meetings. So we created the normal occurrence of Rotary in our home, and that makes it easier to involve our families in sponsoring events and a lot of family-friendly events like skate parks and fun runs, bike trails, picnics, and playgrounds. So we encourage you to involve your family. My youngest son, Zach, just graduated college, and his degrees are in psychology, nonprofit management, and marketing. These degrees are a direct reflection of being raised in the family of Rotary, those people who inspired him to do more and be more. He's engaged in service, attended Rotary education, traveled to volunteer in different countries and cultures, attended the Riley Youth Leadership Program. He's a Rotaractor. So know that as you get more involved in Rotary, that it can be a family-oriented program for you, and it offers value to your entire family. So are any of you generational Rotarians out there? All first timers? Way to start this in your family, and hopefully they will follow you for generations.
Okay, so one of the founding principles of Rotary is to recognize the value of all worthwhile occupations. Rotary also promotes ethical business practices. When you wear your Rotary pin in business meetings, you communicate that you uphold and practice these ideals. In my profession as a banker, for example, I received many referrals on the basis of the trust established by and for Rotarians, and I owed a substantial portion of my book of business to my association with Rotary. When you're looking for resources, consider your fellow Rotarians.
Another way to engage with business and personal is through your social media. We're all on it. Obviously, we're all here tonight, so we all use it. So let's use it for good. Promote your club by talking about club programs, socials, and service opportunities. Put the pictures up when you and your family or you and your fellow club members are out doing a trail cleanup or a highway cleanup or at a social event. If you've got a great speaker coming up, invite your friends and coworkers who you think might enjoy listening to the message. Again, with the introduction of Zoom for the last 2 years, they can watch from the comfort of their own offices and still get a taste of what Rotary is like. And when you're out and about, don't forget to tell people about your journey, why you joined Rotary. This is not a time to hide the good works of Rotary under a bushel. Let them know that you're proud to be a Rotarian and why. Keep up with your club and district information activities on Facebook pages and bookmarking the websites. Again, check out some of those websites, Zone 2627, myrotary.org, and Rotary 5080. Those of us who are lifelong learners are still learning something new from each of these sites on a regular basis. And it's very easy to go down those rabbit holes. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are overwhelming amounts of resources out there. Start simple. Create your My Rotary account at rotary.org. Register on the District 5080 website, and we'll be sending out follow-up emails after tonight's presentation to give you that information, so you don't have to write it all down right now.
Yeah, and I think I just saw a typo I need to fix. It's YouTube Rotary 5080, so I'll get that fixed. I didn't notice that the last 2 sessions, so.
Sorry.
No, I will. I should have caught that. Just want to send them to the right place. We don't know what you will find at 8080.
Oh, let us know.
So based on what you learned today, what action do you plan to take? And what questions do you have before we say goodnight?
Well, the action that I would like to take is to ask our chapter's president or any of the members of what type of immediate needs that their group needs that I can help fulfill. Kind of would like to jump in.
Great way to get your feet on the ground. Thank you, Charles. Anyone else? Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I want to recognize our trainer, Debbie, for the great slideshow that she put together. And I'm so glad she could join us tonight. It was so much fun to tag team with you tonight, Debbie.
Thank you, Doreen. It's really was fun. Thank you. And Doreen, as our membership chair, is going to take this into the future and keep it, updating it and enhancing it. So encourage your friends to come and listen to Doreen when she's continuing this as our membership chair next year.
And we'll send out some emails that can help you find some of the resources that we mentioned this evening and help you continue on your Rotary journey. Hope you all have a great night and a great experience in Rotary. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies,
You
very
too.
much for
Thank
doing
you.
this.